Okay. Yeah, the sun just setting here at the Jakeman's Community Stadium. Beautiful blue skies, though, all around. Just a couple of crows flying around in the sky as we await the two teams of Boston United and Sunderland's PL2 side for game number 3 of Boston United's National League Cup campaign so far this season. It has been good for Boston. 2 wins from 2. It was Middlesbrough's under-21s at first in the National League Cup, where now John Lewis was on the score sheet, and then that followed that up with a 4-0 victory against Leeds under-21s. Ben Grist getting his first goal in a Boston shirt that day. Kieran Donnelly, who scored against Middlesbrough, also scored 2 against Leeds, and Alex Lancashire as well, also getting his first Boston United goal against Leeds that night to make it 6 points from 6. Can Boston make it 9 from 9? A reminder, last year anybody who got to 9 points in a group ended up qualifying for the knockout stages. So there is a great chance tonight, if Boston United do get the win, that they will be through to the knockout stages. It won't be confirmed tonight, but you could almost assume that they will be there and through to the next round of the competition, something they missed out on through goal difference this time last year. The two teams have just made their way out. Boston United in their amber shirts, black shorts and amber socks. Sunderland in an all blue away kit of shirts, the white shorts and the blue socks. The handshakes currently going on between the two sides. Graham Coughlin and Lee Bullen and Jamie Rayner all just making their way out of the tunnel area and doing the regular handshakes. Graham Murty, the man in charge of Sunderland's team. The referees tonight, Aaron Bannister, Sean Farrer and Martin Beard, with Wayne Gray the fourth official. A reminder of that Boston United team then. It is Bobby Jones who makes his second start in a Boston shirt. He starts in goal. The 3 centre halves of Ben Grist, who's featured in all 10 games this season, as has Connor Teal, who is a all games started, in fact, so far 10 from 10 when it comes to Connor Teal, and Alex Lancashire, who's also, like Connor Teal, started every single game for Boston this season. Then the 2 wing-backs, Jordan Cropper and Matty Carson. If you missed our interview with Graham Coughlin, the Boston United manager, he says Jordan Cropper will be playing just the 45 minutes. He would like to rest the likes of Connor Teal, Alex Lancashire and Jordan Richards as the game goes on, so I wonder if we will see some further changes made at half-time. The midfield 3, Jordan Richards, Rocco Coyle and Owen Hampson, who all played at the weekend in the game at Southend. And then it is a front 2 of Kieran Donnelly and Linnell John Lewis on the bench for Boston tonight. It is Rhys Lovett, Greg Sloggett, Dylan Hill, Manny Norkett, Luca Alonzi, Finlay Ging and Billy Bradley. Connor Teal is the man who's charged with wearing the captain's armband tonight, with Zach Mills not involved in the matchday squad. Neither is Geordie Hawula, who are having a well-deserved night off, it is fair to say. And it's going to be Sunderland who will get things underway. They're kicking from right to left as we look at it, so Boston attacking the open end in the first 45 minutes. It's Rob Makepeace with you, and alongside me, straight from PA duties, Christian James, ready to go.
Adrenaline pumping. It's one of those atmospheres, isn't it? We've got a few more in than we feared. A lot of home games coming up for the Pilgrims, including another 2 in the next 8 days. So quite understandable if you've stayed at home to enjoy it in our company. And yeah, we're about to get underway. 90 minutes, maybe penalties in the event of a draw for that crucial 8th point in Group D.
Yeah, hopefully Boston can get the job done tonight and then not have to worry too much about the Newcastle game, although the prize money in this competition means you probably, in fact, winning all 4 could be quite helpful and quite healthy to Boston United's playing budget potentially.
Absolutely, and we've said this evening there's an opportunity both for those that have been playing and those that haven't as well to keep or to stake a claim for a place, to find a bit of fitness in the case of Donnelly, of John Lewis and certainly of Jordan Cropper, and for Bobby Jones to tick over after a few weeks without a game in goal. So yeah, a lot of the same arguments will apply in a month or so's time when Newcastle come down here, but the Pilgrims got the opportunity tonight to continue that 100% record in this competition and pretty much secure passage through to those quarter-finals, and hopefully it would be another home game in those quarter-finals.
Must be something to do with 7 o'clock kickoffs, because I can tell you exactly what Sunderland are going to do for this kickoff. They're going to kick it into touch right near the corner flag. Notts County did this against Lincoln a couple of weeks ago. It is the most bizarre start to a game, because they look like they're ready to shoot. It looks like the Sunderland number 8, Ben Middlemass, is lining up for a shot here, but that is what they're going to go for, I would imagine, here. It seems to be the new in thing, I think. It's the new trend.
And the new trend here is referees bringing the teams out far too early. I think Craig must have the clock set in the referees' room a bit quick, because yet again we're waiting for an official to let the game get underway. We're all ready, and presumably we're just ticked over to 7 p.m.
Yes. Oh no, he's decided to go back.
There
we
we
go.
go.
I thought he was going to do that. He tricked me even. So we are underway then here on BBC Radio Lincolnshire. Serves me right, that does. Boston against Sunderland here on Hope and Glory. Ron Makepeace, Christian James with you, and it's Sunderland who will look to go on an early attack, playing it forward for Jayden Jones, dealt with by Boston United. Richards has it in the left back position, pokes it forward for Carson, who impressed after coming on Saturday, playing more of an attacking role at the weekend, back as a usual left wing back tonight. And it's a long ball which will be played forward. Donnelly can't quite win the header. Instead it's still with Sunderland, looking to go forward down the right hand side now. A little bit of space for them as they play the ball across the penalty area, and early defending for Jordan Cropper to do that. Certainly will test that hamstring of his. And Boston trying to clear it away, and they do play it forward. Can't quite find Linnell John Lewis, but certainly Graham Coughlin said it would be a pacey side that Boston were coming up against tonight, and we saw it in a short spell there, a minute in.
I suppose given the age profile of his squad, it's maybe more the football that some of his squad will have been used to in their respective academies. It's sometimes easy, particularly in Premier League 2 games where it's 2 youth teams, maybe not so much tonight. It can be a bit sterile, a bit too correct. You don't get that kind of rough edge to the games. So yeah, it suited Boston so far, hasn't it? They got a good result against Sheffield United under 21s.
And here comes Donnelly racing forward into the penalty area. He goes, fires it against the goalkeeper, and wins Boston United in an early corner.
I was going to say, and they found a lot of goals in the 2 competitive games against Middlesbrough and Leeds, and Donnelly was the man that scored 3 of those 6 goals in the 2 opening games in this group for United, and he very nearly found the inside of Isaac Allen's post there in just the second minute.
Yeah, good to see that decision being made, wasn't it, by Donnelly, of not doing a cross or a shot. It was like, I'm going to fire this and see where it lands, and it does win Boston a corner, which will be taken by Carson, the number 15 tonight. Can't quite play it into the edge of the area to Hampson. Donnelly heads it behind him. Sunderland give the ball back to Boston. It's on the halfway line now with Coyle. Looks up, delivers a left to right ball. Grist leaves it for the left wing back Carson, still out on this right hand side. Good football from Boston, finds Hampson. Now with Coyle again. Boston still with Teal forward on the edge of the penalty area. It's with Grist, fires the cross into the box, can't quite get to John Lewis or Teal, still not properly cleared by Sunderland. Donnelly now has it 25 yards out from goal, out to the right to Cropper. Cropper forward for Donnelly, couldn't quite get the touch, and it rolls through to Allen. 0-0, 2.5 minutes in.
Sharp from Cropper at both ends of the pitch already. Had to cut that cross out in the first minute, and then a nice bit of interchange down on what is the near side to us here in the advanced right wing back role.
Yeah, Sunderland against Scunthorpe United went 2-0 down and came back for a 3-2 win in their opening National League group stage win. Scored some brilliant goals in that victory as well, and Boston will have to be aware of that this evening as the ball is with Ben Grist. Short for Cropper, played inside for Coyle. Loose ball forward from him though, picked off by Ben Kinden. Now into the central midfield area for Middlemass, goes out to the right for Sunderland into Jayden Jones. Keeps hold of the ball. Jones gets it back now and goes back to the halfway line once again against Sunderland with the captain Johnson to his left hand side to Kinden. 0-0, 3.5 minutes in. If you are just joining us here on BBC Radio Lincolnshire, Boston trying to steal it in the midfield, but Sunderland have managed to beat the Boston press in that midfield and are driving forward into the edge of the penalty area. Pilgrim's getting players back, but it's still with Sunderland now. Neat ball into the edge of the box. Again, Cropper has to get there and does well to get there. Grist tries to get it forward to the halfway line to Donnelly, but again given back, but it is out of play. But it's been a couple of times now, isn't it? Neat interplay on the edge of the penalty area.
Yeah, they worked a good position there. There certainly weren't any claims for penalty, went down very, very softly, but Boston lucky to get away with that one, and then Grist, a pretty weak clearance, but Ben Kinden, the Sunderland 5, could only put it out of play himself. So again, Boston fortunate, it was imperfect there, but remains 0-0, and Bobby Jones remains untroubled.
Coyle plays it back for Grist. Looks to go long. Off the Sunderland man for a Boston United throw, which will be taken by Cropper, just told to move back a pace or two. Don't like that will bother him if he's going for the halfway line, because we know he'll hit it with a long throw, but instead he goes short for Coyle this time, then goes back to the edge of the penalty area to Lancashire. Forward ball finds Hampson. Back for Carson, then played infield for Richards, across to Coyle. Coyle, lovely little bit of skill to get past two Sunderland men, and then looks to get Carson forward on the left-hand side. Donnelly skips past the challenge, still trying to get on the end of it, and the referee pulls it back for a Boston United free kick.
Yeah, good work there. Got in behind for the first time. Not quite able to have that injection of pace from Donnelly to make use of the space in behind the high line, but did receive a foul on the way through. So Boston got the chance to load the box now. Get Teal and Lancashire's coming forward as well. No Zach Mills, of course, to feed on the scraps from the set pieces tonight, but they've got plenty of height in there. Grist coming up now as well. Options for United here.
Free kick played into the box, headed away by Sunderland. Now it's the edge of the penalty area. Richards with the volley, cleared away by the visitors. Back to Coyle for Boston on the halfway line. Goes across for Carson. Then out to Grist now on the left wing for Boston. Donnelly forward. Grist goes back to Carson once again. Boston still with Teal and Lancashire forward. Cross comes into the box. John Lewis tries to help it in towards goal, and it's easily gathered by Isaac Allen once again. 0-0, but certainly Boston looking to get some good deliveries in from wide positions so far. Yeah,
well watched by the goalkeeper, because it was going in, but he needed to wait to react for any touch from John Lewis. The touch didn't come, and in the end it was quite easily gathered. But nice sort of cross shot from United there. They loaded the box in the initial free kick and then got another good delivery in with the second opportunity.
Coyle trying to steal it off the Sunderland back line. It's back to Allen. Drives it straight down the middle of the pitch. Laid off by Ethan Moore to the right hand side for Finlay Holcroft. Holcroft goes back to the halfway line. John Lewis goes chasing after it, but Sunderland have worked it from right to left to Kinden. Kinden with the forward ball. Is there an offside flag going to go up? There is, against Jaden Jones. 0-0 here, 0-0 in all of the National League Cup matches so far this evening.
Yeah, just a little bit early from one of the two Jade Joneses in the team for Sunderland tonight. They've got Jensen, but it was Jaden on that occasion. Went too late and rendered himself offside as Kinden played him through for left centre half.
Just as I say, there was no goals. Rochdale decide to put the ball in the back of the net. I'm not sure that are they classed as the highest ranked side in the competition, or would you class the PL2 sides as big?
I think it'd probably be the National League sides.
I would say so, yeah.
Yeah, unusually you've got the way it's set up, you've got the high ranked teams also put at home, and yet we saw last year it was the Premier League 2 teams that made better progress, with Leeds winning it. But I've just noticed, I'm guessing, given that it's a gambling sponsor, 2 of the Sunderland players haven't any sponsors on their shirts.
Yes.
Holcroft and Lightfoot. I'm assuming they'll be the 2 under-18s in the team.
And that is the case. So I know that through Lincoln, who had a wine sponsor.
Oh, of course, yeah.
And some of the young players in the League Cup couldn't wear the same training gear because it had the sponsor on.
And that's maybe why we've seen the substitutes change their numbers on the bench between the team sheets coming out and kick-off. Yeah,
that's very true. Yeah, you'll have to remind me of that when if they do come on. Ball is with Sunderland, not missing any of the action, although it's given away, and it's Coyle plays it for Donnelly, edge of the penalty area. Donnelly tries to turn, can't quite get the shot away, falls for Richards, long way out, drives the shot in. It was blocked in front of Isaac Allen, and then it's going to be picked up on the right hand side by Jensen Jones. Lancashire comes forward, miscontrolled though. Sunderland able now to come away with it, and they've got a break on down the side where Lancashire would be, and it's with Ethan Moore up against Connor Teal, who sticks to the task for the moment, but still with Moore out on the right wing for Sunderland. Goes towards the byline, looks to get the cross in low. Grist able to clear it away, but it's still with the visitors out on the right hand side with Jones once again. Played infield for Marshall Burke, 30 yards out from goal, goes to his left. Again, Sunderland looking to work it neatly in and around the edge of the penalty area. Nothing to test Bobby Jones yet, but the cross is going to come in from the left-hand side. And again, dealt with by Connor Teal and out for a throw.
And this is where so often in league action you'll then see the long throw in, but I don't think Sunderland possess one, so it is going to be a more patient build-up. That more direct style starting to come into the game at the very top level as well. It's difficult to watch a Premier League game, Premier League regular game now without seeing the long throw into the box, but Sunderland haven't got one amongst the young ranks this evening.
No, and they've got play back underway, back on the halfway line now with Zach Johnson. And now to Kindon. Fires the pass forward. Sunderland not able to work it through. Lancashire helps it to his left-hand side to Carson. Now with Richards for John Lewis. Lovely football from Boston out to the left-hand side. Helped on by Hampson, but nothing happening for Boston United. Just looking at the Boston team sheet, one notable name which I was surprised wasn't starting, but then realised he's not even on the bench tonight, Jacob Scott.
Yes, having again another one that's come back from injury. His return's been a little sooner than the likes of Cropper, and John Lewis, of course, missing out recently. But no, not involved tonight. Didn't see anything from the club as to why. But yeah, he's one, given that they've got a reasonably settled back line, or certainly one we feel that they'll probably build from the next couple of weeks with Cropper back. Would have been a good opportunity for him to get involved again.
Yeah,
I thought he looked quite assured when he came on Saturday.
Yeah, come on, last couple of games, doesn't he? As Coyle wins Boston United a throw, and Braintree go 1-0 up against Nottingham Forest under 21s.
Braintree, the visitors, here next Wednesday in the league after Boreham Wood make the trip on Saturday.
Yeah, Boreham Woodside, who started the season extremely well as well on their return to the National League. Ball with Boston and Lancashire. Back to Bobby Jones, 0-0 here, 11 minutes in. From Hope and Glory, Jones drives it forward long, headed away by Sunderland once again. Out on the right-hand side for the visitors. Boston with everybody bar John Lewis behind the ball. And now Sunderland looking to drive forward, but again Boston have done well to win it back, and it's Grist who's looking to go forward. It's a 3-on-3 here, John Lewis and Grist, and Donnelly. Grist just got caught in two minds, I think, there as to what to do. Instead it's out to the right-hand side to Cropper. Grist going on the overlap down the right-hand side. Cropper plays it to Grist, not able to get across in first time. Played back for Cropper, and this will be the first chance we'll get to see for Jordan Cropper. Long throw, 0-0.
Absolutely, Grist there advancing forward, did ever so well, but then just needed to play that ball off. He had two options, Donnelly and John Lewis, who both made intelligent runs, and it proved to be a wealth of options because he couldn't choose between them. Took far too long, and then done well on this right hand side to force a throw in. And unlike Sunderland, Boston will certainly load this into the box with Cropper back into the team. So
Cropper, long throw into the penalty area. Well, might be a little bit rusty because that went well out of the area where all the Boston players were. It's back into the box. John Lewis can't quite win the header, and the offside flag has gone up as well. And Jordan Cropper just adjusting back to life as a first team player.
Yeah, we usually say here it must be windy up there, but about still an evening he's going to get at the JCS. And yeah, just behind everyone, unfortunately. And then John Lewis was behind everyone in the Sunderland defence with the second ball. So reset for United, but they found good areas in these first few minutes. Neither team able to fashion a real opening yet, but both teams have had joy down their respective attacking rights. And Boston with Grist, and particularly with Cropper, both with the throws and the overlapping threat from right wing back, you would say that is probably going to be their primary target this evening.
Blackburn back level with Rochdale, 1-1 at Scotland. As Boston go and press Sunderland once again. Played out to the right-hand side though. Boston trying to win it back. Lancashire ends up on the ground, and it will be a Pilgrims free kick. 13 minutes in. Graham Coughlin relatively calm
for now.
For now, yeah.
I'm sure there'll be something to get him going. He's starting in gear 1 tonight instead of 3 or 4. But
he did joke to me that he should be home at this time of night watching The Chase when I spoke to him for the pre-match interview.
I can't imagine him as a slippers on and blanket tucked up man at this time of night.
I can imagine getting very frustrated with the team if the Chase don't win though.
Yes.
If they don't beat the Chasers, I can imagine getting more and more annoyed.
They take the negative option, yeah.
Ball is with Grist out to the right hand side to Cropper, who plays it against the Sunderland left back Lightfoot. And now the away side in possession just near the centre circle. Donnelly goes chasing after it, but it's with Kindon. We've not really had any opportunities on goal as of yet. Donnelly with a 5 crossing, which was dealt with by Allen, but away from that it's been a lack of goal scoring opportunities, although Richards gets it forward for John Lewis here. Just help back for Carson, back into John Lewis, tries to spin in the halfway line. Can't quite control it under his spell. And it's back with Sunderland once again on the PL2 side. One ball straight down the middle, which Cropper will just protect and see through to Bobby Jones in the Boston United goal, played here on the what I would call the opening day of the season. It was strange to call it that, bearing in mind it was the Cup, but did play here and not been seen since in action.
No, it was a fairly even-handed pre-season between the two goalkeepers, wasn't it? But Lovett's got the nod so far. I thought probably his best performance so far on Saturday as well, still waiting that league clean sheet, but a fantastic save from a close-range header at 0-0. And then unlucky having saved the penalty that his defence weren't first to the rebound, given it wasn't the penalty taker that scored it as well. And it also had to come from outside of the box, so it made me feel hard done by. But no, Lovett's not given Jones much opportunity.
Jones has to come right out to the left-hand corner of his penalty area. The ball played in behind that Boston defence, and Jones able to deal with it pretty comfortably. Quarter of an hour in. It is goalless at the moment. Coyle can't quite get there. Still with Sunderland at the moment, and Johnson taken by Hampson, can't quite poke it through though for Lionel John Lewis. Sunderland do like to take their chances playing it around at the back, but now as they try and go on the counter-attack down the right with Ethan Moore, just runs it out of play. Already 2 or 3 times we've seen that Boston press nearly work wonders.
Absolutely, they're picking the ball up in midfield quite regularly. Richards a little bit further back, but also Hampson and Donnelly on occasion picking it up off the centre halves or off Marshall Burke, who's sitting in deep in midfield, and just not quite able to find that killer pass yet through. They had the one opportunity when Griss came marauding forward, couldn't pick the pass, and there Hampson unlucky. He got sort of snuffed out really, didn't he? Because John Lewis had made the run, the ball was on, but he got blindsided by the midfield and just cut his pass off.
Ball played forward for Cropper. Donnelly can't get there. Hampson heads it back into the centre circle. Richards on for John Lewis, who stretched well, helped it back for Jordan Richards. Now Carson inside for John Lewis. Runners either side. John Lewis can't get there. There's a hefty challenge between Coyle and Holcroft. Good to see both players back on their feet. Play continues with Boston on the left with Carson looping ball into the box. The goalkeeper's dropped it and then provides it to Cropper, and the referee gives the decision the other way.
I'm not much of a rugby man, but it looked like 2 arms round the midriff. A very clean tackle in rugby football, but no, it's gone the other way. I think neither referee nor linesman too interested in giving anything that was going to impact the game. I was just giving a goal kick, but free kick there, really quite bizarre. One for Mr. Bannister to look back on perhaps, but no, the goalkeeper getting away with one, having dropped the cross there, and Cropp will feel very, very unfortunate. What it has done is liven this crowd up a little bit.
Yeah, it certainly has. Yeah, it was one of those that was waiting for the decision to be given, but not the case as Sunderland play it through, and it does land at the feet of Jones in goal for Boston. Not the easiest night for, well, I suppose it could be an easier night for commentary. We've got 3 Joneses on the pitch.
Yeah, I think if in doubt it's Jones, isn't it? Craig can decide which one if they score. And there was an H Jones as well somewhere that played in goal for Sunderland in these first few weeks. But
lovely flick on from Donnelly, played back through by John Lewis. Donnelly! No, side netting.
That deceptive angle, there was a portion of the crowd that knew that was safe, and another like us that wasn't quite sure. Fantastic ball through, the sort of challenge he'd backed Donnelly to finish. He went with the dink when he had the opportunity from a similar range against Leeds. This time he tried to play it round Allen, and unfortunately he played it round the post as well.
Still 0-0 then. Best chance of the game for Boston, 18 minutes in, as Allen kicks it straight out of play. Donnelly not too far away from adding to his tally of 3 this season, all coming in the National League Cup.
Yeah, and twice we've seen Boston get in behind there. Once courtesy of a goalkeeping error with Allen and that cross, and the Cropper incident, and then a fantastic little ball through, and Donnelly did the hard work. He made the run. You'd have put your mortgage on him to finish it, but side netting on this occasion.
Christian James alongside myself for a mate piece here on Hope and Glory. It is a run of midweek fixtures for Boston United as Ben Griss comes forward for the Pilgrims, marauding down this right-hand side, looking to take on his man, going towards the byline, slides to get the cross in the box and wins Boston their second corner of the evening, 0-0.
Good work there, and good to see a bit of attacking endeavour from Grist for the second time this evening. It was a feature of Boston's run to safety at the back end of last season. The centre halves given the freedom to come forward, particularly on the right-hand side, and support Jay Rose. It was then. This time it was Grist overlapping Cropper, and when you've got Cropper in the team, throw in or corner, it doesn't really matter. On this occasion it is a corner, and it's going to be the left-footed Matty Carson to take it.
So Carson to deliver. Corner number 2 for the Pilgrims this evening. 0-0 here against Sunderland, but Carson with the corner in towards the penalty spot, headed away, falls to Richards again, edge of the penalty area. Hampson tries to get the shot in, comes out for Carson, heavy touch from him, but he's able to go and retrieve it and play it back for Jordan Richards, now worked out towards the left-hand side. Richards has it, Hampson's come short, 30 yards out from goal. Space again on the left-hand side, tried to play it through for Cropper, and the foul goes against Cropper, and it will be a Sunderland free kick. This time remains 0-0.
No complaints there, no interest in a card from the referee either, but not the first time we've seen a fairly hefty challenge going in midfield. No one's shirking them, that's for sure. It is proper competitive, particularly with Coyle and Richards and Hampson in that midfield, and Cropper this time just going in a little bit late.
Mistake at the back from Sunderland. Donnelly tries to take on his man, stopped this time by the side from the northeast. Ball out of play for a Boston throw just over the halfway line.
More in hope than expectation there from Whittaker, trying to claim that one. Again, just his touch let him down, and it goes out of play.
Cropper goes back for Grist, who's been doing more in an attacking sense than defending so far in this game. Richards now has it for Boston, out to Carson on the left, back for Jordan Richards. Inside for Lancashire. Richards has it again. Still 0-0 as we edge towards the halfway point of this first half. Lancashire goes across for Teal, and out to Grist on the right hand side. Grist driving forward down the right, plays short for John Lewis, just protecting the ball. Cropper have made a forward run now with Grist again. John Lewis gets it, and Grist goes to ground, and the referee I think could have given a free kick for either of them, and he's certainly given a free kick for one of them.
I think it's going to be the one on Grist, the slightly wider one. But again, as you mentioned, Grist in that attacking sense, but even when the ball was being played around in the left side of the Boston defence, Cropper was all the way up on the defensive line, so it's shifting the whole shape of that defence and of the team through to try and attack down this right hand side. And when Boston found the space on the attacking right, they tried to exploit it, whereas the left, it's more that patient build up. So it clearly is going to be down this near side to us. In the first half they're going to try and make inroads. They've won a couple of decisions, a couple of throw-ins, and this time it's going to be a free kick for Matty Carson to deliver his first start for the club after leaving Grimsby Town a week or so ago.
Yeah, delivered some good set pieces at the weekend, and hopefully can produce something here as well. Carson with the ball into the box. Allen comes a long way, gets something on it, falls to the edge of the area. Richards tries to get the shot in, turn shot from Teal, still not properly cleared by Sunderland, passing it around on the edge of their own penalty area here. Boston going chasing after it. They do go forward now towards the halfway line, and Coyle collides with Jaden Jones, and Sunderland this time get the free kick, but Allen not looking too secure in that Sunderland goal at the moment.
I think he could have caught it. He seemed to get two hands to it and then decided he was going to punch, and it turned into more of a flap. And not for the first time this evening, Boston landing on a second ball just in and around the edge of the area, but the volley attempt blocked by a blue shirt. We saw Richards in the first 5 or 10 minutes have two opportunities from that sort of distance, and Hampson's had a go as well now. Boston are sniffing out the loose balls high up the pitch.
And they've done it again. This time it's Hampson who gets it down the left-hand side. Donnelly and John Lewis in the box. Good run forward from Carson. Looks to play it across. It comes off John Lewis. And it is Boston United who take the lead here, just over the halfway point of this first half. Then Boston's number 14 scores once again.
And it was a wicked ball across the box, wasn't it? Any touch was going to do, and whether John Lewis got a piece or Kindon got the most of it, I'm not just sure. But yeah, wicked cross across the 6-yard box.
14, Linnell John Lewis.
Craig's claiming it for Linnell John Lewis, I'm not so sure. But the goalkeeper there caught it no man's land. It was right inside his 6-yard box. He didn't make a telling contact. And certainly the combination of John Lewis and Ben Kindon did send it home, and the Pilgrims, after a good bit of pressure, albeit not too many clear-cut opportunities, Donnelly missed the only one, They do now have the lead midway through this first half, and it's what's become a rarity for the Pilgrims, a first half goal, just their third of the season.
You should know, Christian, as an announcer never gives an own goal.
You get stuck, what do you do? Goal time for the Pilgrims, 24 minutes. You don't want to take the Michael, so no, I remember last year desperately trying to give Dan Mooney what turned into a Sunderland own goal in this competition, and I do wonder if Craig will be negotiating that one for John Lewis later.
So, ball is with Sunderland. I agree, I think it's a John Lewis goal, personally, but we will see on the replays.
I think I'm in the minority, judging by the faces around me.
Ball is with Ben Griss down the right-hand side. The only thing I would say about it is there was not much of a celebration from Linnell John Lewis. Now, I can't tell if that's just because it's the National League Cup or whether he didn't get much of a touch.
Yeah, maybe the occasion or the finish, I'm not just sure.
He will be claiming it, that is for sure.
There were one or two Boston goals in the last couple of years that were clearer-cut own goals that were never given, without wanting to dig any of the culprits out now. So John Lewis will take it, I'm sure, for now.
As Boston come forward down the right-hand side, Hampson into the box just behind the run of Boston players. There was 3 all in a line. Griss tried to twist his body as best he can, but Sunderland were able to clear it away. 25 minutes in, 1-0 to the Pilgrims. Wealdstone leading Leicester by a goal to nil elsewhere in the competition as Jones tries to get it out towards Jordan Cropper, but it's out for a Sunderland throw. We won't fear going behind, as I mentioned earlier on, going behind from a 2-0, coming from behind from a 2-0 scoreline to win 3-2 at Scunthorpe in this competition. But it was a 1-0 as it's nearly given away at the back again by Sunderland. They've done that 3 or 4 times. Boston nearly able to profit once again, but this time it's with the side from the north. He's played forward and into the arms of Bobby Jones, but they do like to take their chances at the back.
Yeah, they're assured almost to the point of self-destruction again on that occasion. If we're going John Lewis for now, it's a goal every other game for him, 5 in 10.
Which isn't bad, it's a lovely touch from Linnell John Lewis. Played forward now for Hampson, Donnelly and Carson at the far post. Lovely ball played across the penalty area. Can't quite find Carson, just wasn't enough on it for the left wing back to go and get there as Cropper tries to win it back, and then that's gone out of play. The great thing about Linnell John Lewis is he just does not look the age he is when he plays.
Not at all, very, very busy. Him and Donnelly, it isn't that kind of classic little and large legs and target combination. They're both threats on the ball and in the air. John Lewis there did very, very well. Not quite able to land on it and find what would have definitely been his goal had he finished it. But no, Boston have got 2 threats up there. You've got physicality and you've got a bit of pace.
Trying to get it into Donnelly this time. Sunderland able to win it back. Donnelly wanted a free kick, and now they will look to go on the attack. Bobby Jones has had a very, very quiet evening so far in that Boston goal. This is played down the left-hand side into the edge of the penalty area. Back now for the Sunderland number 8 Middlemas. Back out to the edge of the penalty area for Sunderland. Played across into the D. Chance for the shot, potentially just poked through to the right-hand side, and it is blocked and it's looped up into the air, and it's an easy catch for Jones. It was Jensen Jones who had the shot, and Bobby Jones gathers it and then tries to throw it out quickly for Carson. Second ball is going to be picked up and played forward, but Donnelly couldn't quite again control it. Goes out for a Sunderland throw.
Boston have comfortably been the better side at landing on those second balls. It was quite crucial there because Boston were trying to counter and Sunderland were nearly able to turn it straight back at them. The shape wasn't really there for either side. And
they've given it away against Sunderland. It's Linnell John Lewis turns on the penalty spot. Linnell John Lewis. We can confirm the score of that one. It's a second goal of the game for him, second for Boston, and they lead 2-0.
And they picked the ball up in their own half and they picked it way up the pitch again, the Pilgrims. Some of the passes from Sunderland I'm sure will leave plenty to pick over when they watch this one back. And Linnell John Lewis, all the time in the world, no one marking him. Space to pick his spot around and underneath Isaac Allen. Definitely is on this occasion. We'll go 6 for the season for now. Boston United suddenly in that position that we discussed before kick-off. They can be 2 or 3-0 up at half-time and have that luxury. You can start to look at resting those players that through the competition rules and through the manager's choice have played Saturday and tonight, and you'd expect we'll play Saturday again, and maybe we'll see that long-awaited debut for Finlay Ging. We might see Billy Bradley involved again, having come on against Leeds and Aldershot already this season. I'm sure Dylan Hill's always keen for a run out, whoever he's playing, and Manny Norkett and Luca Alonso as well up front. So Yeah, 2-0 to Boston. If they can keep it up, they can score another. They're going to give the manager the luxury of choice with a comfortable goal margin.
So Boston leading here by 2-0, but it's Sunderland coming forward down the left-hand side, playing to the edge of the penalty area, trying to play it through. Good defending this time from Connor Teal. Still with Sunderland though. Middlemass now gets it out to the left-hand side for Jack Whittaker. Played inside for Middlemass again. Space on the left, they want to use it. Lovely little run from Middlemass, gets it out to the left wing, then gets the ball back once again. Sunderland have it, edge of the penalty area. Again, Middlemass getting on the ball, gets the shot in, well blocked by Boston. Volley comes in, well blocked again by the Pilgrims. Still with Sunderland, edge of the penalty area. As down goes Jaden Jones. Nothing happening there though. And it's Boston looking to come forward down the right-hand side with Linnell John Lewis on a hat-trick. Played back for Coyle. Boston not rushing things, not wanting to, with the scoreline as it is. And a hat-trick for John Lewis tonight will take him up to his tally of goals from the 23-24 league season for York City, where he scored 7.
First hat-trick we've seen here since Kelsey Mooney, March 2024. Home to Farsley.
You can see the adjudication panel is just checking the goal. And it's Linnell John Lewis. We've got it confirmed. The adjudication panel says Linnell John Lewis goal. That clears that one up. Ball played forward. John Lewis this time can't quite get on the end of it, but Richards has it in the centre circle, out to the left-hand side for Lancashire, able to drive for Carson driving forward. Still with Carson, gets the cross into the box. Donnelly can't get there. Cropper with the volley, well blocked. Still battling around in the penalty area. Donnelly can't quite get there. Another good save. Donnelly tries to get there again, and it will be a corner for Boston. And they look like they can get 4, 5 or 6 the way things are going.
They've been so good at landing on second balls way up the pitch. The second goal came from on about 30 yards from goal, but Boston were picking the second balls up in the 6-yard box there. Sunderland clearly got a telling touch in the end, but they were almost forcing it in, weren't they? It was like 1st and 10, and we spoke about rugby a couple of times with the challenges, and it was a bit of an American football scrum on the line there, but no, corner it is, and Boston will be looking to put this game to bed with a third in the next couple of minutes.
Another corner, third corner of the evening, played short this time for John Lewis. Back out for Carson, goes back to Coyle, delivers the cross in, comes off a Sunderland head. That will be a Boston United throw, and a chance to practice the long throw for Jordan Cropper this time.
He was quite lucky that he was already over there on the left-hand side, saved him the journey. The ball crew a bit enthusiastic there, getting it back to him, but yeah, with Carson over to take the corner on this right-hand side, the fullbacks had switched, and Cropper in position, ready to deliver this.
So throw comes in from Cropper. It's straight into the 6-yard box, headed away. Richards nods it back out to the left-hand side for Cropper. First time ball into the box, still not fully cleared by Sunderland, which they do get it clear now. Coyle just catching Jaden Jones, and it will be a Sunderland free kick. So 2 goals for Linnell John Lewis in the space of 6 minutes, and Boston leading here by 2-0.
Yeah, good work from the Pilgrims to convert that ascendancy. They were just building into 2 quick-fire goals, and they've got that bit of breathing room now. You would back them to pick up the ball half the pitch again as Sunderland try and work it out, but they're not getting through that midfield. Boston have been really strong in there tonight, with Grist helping out from centre-half as well.
And it's worked well down the right-hand side. Cropper gets the crossing, cleared away by Sunderland. Coyle helps it back for Lancashire. It almost feels like Sunderland have got 10 men at the moment, the way Boston are just pinning them in their half. 1-2 play between Carson. He gets the cross into the box. John Lewis with the header over the bar.
Yeah, nearly hat-trick complete for John Lewis in quick fashion, but not able to on that occasion. Boston delivering fantastic crosses from left and right. We saw the opener come from a brilliant one of those low crosses, as we said, that just needed a touch. A couple of opportunities created on this right-hand side as well, and John Lewis not able to head in from Carson's delivery from the left on that occasion. But the Pilgrims looking hungry for more here. Sunderland, you feel, just need to find a bit of experience amongst the youth and try and see this one to half-time at 2-0.
And again, they've given the ball away. Shot comes in. Oh! That is not far away from Lancashire. I think a few Boston fans think that's gone in the back of the net, but He's just gone wide of the post. That was a brilliant right-footed effort from Alex Lancashire, and he was not too far away from finding Boston's third of the evening.
And we've seen so often Grist at right centre half of the three come up and try and help in an attacking sense. Well, Lancashire appeared for the first time, and that looked like it was going to be the opportunity he needed, but no, it just hit the stanchion and nestled in the back of the net. Boston just 2 to the good, but you'd certainly say they look likely for a third here before half-time.
Lancashire gets it back to Richards and flies into the challenge. Jordan Richards. Free kick will go the way of Sunderland. A few challenges have gone in this game, which has been good to see. Richards just going to be spoken to by the referee. Blackburn leading Rochdale by 2-1, and last year's winners Leeds 1-0 up against Scunthorpe. Woking are 2-0 up against Southampton's under-21s. 2-0 here to Lionel John Lewis goals. At the moment, seeing Boston go 9 from 9 in this competition, although saying that, Sunderland did come back from the 2-0 deficit.
They did. Scunthorpe had put, as they have to with this competition, a very strong team out for 15 minutes and then made their changes, and Sunderland clearly grew into that game as well, so that game went from 2-0 very, very early to a 2-3.
Cropper trying to work his way through, can't quite do so. It's with Sunderland on the halfway line now. Space for Burke to go out to the right hand side, just played behind Jensen Jones. First time we've seen Sunderland go on the attack since probably the first 10 minutes or so, but again it's won back by Boston, and now they're looking to go forward. Carson and Donnelly and John Lewis, and the ball played through. This is a hat-trick for Lionel. John Lewis takes it back inside on his left foot. It's well blocked in the end by the defender, denying John Lewis's hat-trick. Ben Kingdon there was the man who stuck to the task extremely well as John Lewis turned, and it remains 2-0, and we're all willing Lenny to go and get that hat-trick.
It seems inevitable when he turned inside and he had that half a yard of space to finish, but sniffed out expertly by Kingdon. But what a ball through it was. Behind the defence, he took his time, picked his spot, and put it on a plate for John Lewis. Just not able to convert, and as you say, make it 3 for him and 3 for the Pilgrims.
We've got 9 minutes to go until half-time here on BBC Radio Lincolnshire. The Pilgrims in control of this game at the Jatemans Community Stadium. Reminder, they beat Middlesbrough here 2-1 on opening day, then a 4-0 win against Leeds United in the second game of the group stage. And, well, Sunderland, this is the problem, isn't it, I suppose, for these sides, is that they're so ingrained in playing a certain way that this is not like a normal game where Sunderland might think of changing the way they play, because that's not what their development is about, is it? They're going to continue doing what they're doing, and Boston are going to continue to get chances, it feels.
Yeah, they're used to a football where the crowds are low, the pressure in terms of results isn't there, it is performances and trying to make your way up the hierarchy in terms of the youth systems and then onto the first team picture. So it's interesting to see how these Premier League 2 teams adapt to a bit of deficit in this competition. As we said, Sunderland came back from 2 behind at Scunthorpe. But no, you don't imagine the plan will change too much for them. You're not going to tend to see the grandstand finish and the centre half thrown up too early on. So they'll stick at it, they'll trust the theory, and complain a little bit about the practice so far. There have been a few stray passes and a bit of shoddiness to the Sunderland play that's let Boston win the ball back hard up the pitch on 4 or 5 occasions.
And here they come again. Carson, lovely little back heel for Hampson into the penalty area. John Lewis, oh, brilliant save! Chance for Cropper! Fires home! And this is turning into a rout. We're not even 40 minutes into this game and Boston are 3-0 up.
Just landing on those second balls again, the goalkeeper did excellently to deny Lionel John Lewis's hat-trick, but there was no defensive options to bail him out of trouble at the back post, and Cropper very short range, but had to get his knee over the top of the ball, keep it underside of that crossbar. That's exactly what he did. Cropper opens his account for the Pilgrims, an appearance number 5, and it is 3-0 very, very quickly in this game. Boston played with their opponents for a bit, took the time to just take the temperature of this contest, and then in the space of 15 very profitable minutes, they've established a 3-goal lead that, on the evidence we've seen so far, probably isn't going to be extinguished. So, job half done for the Pilgrims. They can go in much the happier team at half-time, and the manager can start looking at who he wants to give a bit of rest to.
Now, there might not be many here tonight, but we have witnessed something that not many people in the football world have witnessed, a Jordan Cropper goal. He's not scored one since November 2020 against Altrincham, so that is quite a while between scoring, and he is going to come off at half-time. We know that as well, so that is a nice work for Jordan Cropper.
I suppose when you take the long throw-ins as well, you're not able to be a target in there.
No. And Cropper gets it back for Richards once again. We are back underway with 6 minutes to go until half-time. This has been absolutely dominant from Boston United. Sunderland had a spell in the first couple of minutes without testing Bobby Jones, and Bobby Jones might as well have sat up here in the press box with us for the evening so far, because he's had very little to do.
I think he genuinely may have touched the ball once, that looping effort that was blocked and he had to catch. I don't think he's particularly been involved in the build-up play. Boston have had the ball so high up the pitch, they've not needed to play the goalkeeper in.
1-2 between Cropper and John Lewis. Cropper gets the ball back into the penalty area. Shot comes in, well saved again by Isaac Allen. Say he's had a number of goals go past him. He's had to make a lot of saves as well in this game. It's with Grist driving forward now, edge of the penalty area. Back out for Cropper. Into the box, overhits the cross this time. Hampson will go and chase after it and retrieve it. Plays it back for Jordan Richards. Now back to the halfway line to Teal. Forward pass out to the right-hand side for Grist again, joining forward from right-sided centre-half. John Lewis tries to spin and turn past his man, just going towards the byline. He's got Cropper behind him. It's back into Cropper now with Coyle to Richards. Out to Cropper again. Boston finding all sorts of space. Cropper delivers the ball in. Header from Donnelly just wide of the post.
Yeah, just scuffed it, didn't he? But Boston here really turning the screw. It is dominant, that's the word you used, and you bang on. Cropper had the opportunity to cross there, decided no, he's going to try and play something inside, and then he still had the space when the ball came back out to deliver. Isaac Allen making another strong save from him, and just after he made it, I saw he almost threw his arms up to saying, is anyone else playing Boston United here? Because he's been increasingly under siege, and Sunderland just can't get hold of the ball. They can't get hold of the ball in Boston's half. They can't really get hold of it in midfield either, and given how many stray passes they've played, Boston have been able to begin attacks sort of 30-35 yards from the young Black Cats goal, and it's only going to lead to that scoreline increasing. 3-0 Boston. Yeah,
this is the ideal situation for Graham Coughlan, that he will be able to make those changes that he would like at half-time, bring on a few of the younger players, which saves some of those that he wanted to save. As John Lewis wins a flick on, it's Donnelly trying to get in on goal, just not able to do so. A few times now he's been close to getting in on goal, but yeah, it gives him that opportunity, and also then will allow him that opportunity in the fourth and final game against Newcastle to rest a few more.
Absolutely. I mean, he's gone a little bit further than the league rules said he needed to tonight with just the 5 changes. But there'll clearly be an opportunity there to take it as we see fit. Other clubs have circumvented that by making very early substitutions as well. So
Sunderland going long down the right-hand side, a rare foray forward for them, and they do get themselves a corner with 3 to go until half-time.
Yeah, Boston do just need to be wary. As we said, Sunderland won't be too perturbed by the way things have gone. They'll continue to build. The way they had some success with in the first 10 or 15 minutes or so, but it really has all been one-way traffic for the last 20 minutes. Boston fully meriting that 3-0 scoreline that they'll hope to take into half-time. They've just got a bit of work to do at the back here.
So first corner of the evening for the away side. Played long, and Bobby Jones, well, that is the easiest gather he will have all season. And he bowls it out quickly for Grist. Back for Rocco Coyle. No Boston players forward really at the moment, so Coyle decides to reset and go back for Teal, the skipper this evening. Now it's with Lancashire. Out to the left-hand side. Still, it remains Boston 3-0 up here. 2 goals for Linnell John Lewis. Jordan Cropper scoring his first goal in nearly 5 years. As Grist turns his man on the halfway line. Wins a free kick for Boston.
Again, this right-hand side, it's always where they're looking, isn't it, Boston? They play it back and forth across the back line. When they get the opportunity to attack down the right, that's where they've taken it every time. Grist has been fantastic in support and often overlapping Cropper, as he was on that occasion. Cropper slotted in, Grist was allowed to advance up the wing and won a free kick, which Boston are probably quite sensibly going to turn into an opportunity to try and build across that back 5 once again.
Donnelly tries to use his pace to get past his man, fighting for it. Donnelly still trying to get there. Good defending in the end from the Sunderland skipper Johnson. Although they've given it away in that midfield once again, and it's Cropper forward for Donnelly, fired into John Lewis. Richards can't quite get there. The ball played off Jordan Richards and behind for a goal kick, and there's a Sunderland man down over on the far side of the penalty area with a minute to go until half time. I think it could be the captain Johnson who was just able to stop Kieran Donnelly. Looks like he's the man who's down.
Yeah, and he's got his shirt over his head. He's clearly not happy here, given he'd sort of crouched down level with the penalty spot. He was playing everyone on side, and that was the space John Lewis exploited for the half chance there, as the Sunderland medical staff slowly make their way across. Bit of stats corner for you and a bit of Radio Lincolnshire relevance as well. Jordan Richards tonight, appearance 130 for the Pilgrims. He goes up to 84th on the all-time list, and he overtakes Peter Costello.
There we go.
Peter scored 3 times as many goals as Jordan,
which I'm sure he would remind me of as well. So, Richards in action again this evening. 2 minutes of added time as the treatment just being given to Johnson. And Graham Mercy and the Sunderland coaching staff have got quite a bit to talk about, I imagine, at half time with their players.
Yeah, there's going to be a bit to look at on the bus home as well, I think, up the A1, isn't there? It's been disappointing. As I said, it's been incomplete. There's been too many incomplete passes. Boston have found a lot of space in midfield. They've won, if not the majority, certainly, 60-70% of these the second balls, often high up the pitch as well. That's what led to the John Lewis opportunity that was so notable. That's what led to the ball through as well, where Donnelly got in behind. And the Pilgrims have found it too easy at times. It's credit to them, but their opposition feel they could have done a lot better as well. The best news for them, probably, they've got a full 45 minutes to try and rectify that situation, because Boston have absolutely dominated. 3-0 does tell the story. They just turned the screw for a quarter of an hour and found the back of the net 3 times. 3 varied goals, but 3 good moves and 2 very well taken finishes, and the first one ended up where it needed to. So yeah, good news for the Pilgrims.
And we are going to see who Sunderland have down as a trialist in their matchday graphic on social media. Rio Grant, centre half, who is on trial apparently.
The wonders of the National League Cup.
Yeah, he was the player we talked about pre-match, because he's such a commanding figure. He was just doing the warm-up right in front of where we wasn't he, at the start of pre-game, and we did say he just looks a real imposing figure. When you compare him to a lot of the other 21's players, he does look, as I say, a tall, strong centre half who's come on, which they probably need up against Linnell John Lewis, don't they?
Yeah, he looks physical, doesn't he? If he's going to have abilities, I'm sure he will do, being in a Premier League academy with the ball at his feet as well. He's going to be a tricky customer for the Pilgrims. He has gone over to that right hand side of defence, so it'll be Donnelly that's immediately up against him in the first instance, but you're immediately thinking about those set pieces, both attacking and defensively for Sunderland as well. A real target there that's come on, and sad to see Zach Johnson's 45 minutes end early and then through injury.
John Lewis can't quite steal the ball off Kindon, who denied him his hat-trick a little earlier on. One of the numerous chances Boston have created in this game, but they are 3-0 up, 2 goals from Boston's number 14 and a goal from Jordan Cropper. And Boston have won it back high up the pitch once again. Played inside for John Lewis, helps it back out to the left now for Carson. Delivers the cross into the box. Grant able just to clear it up into the air and away. Carson gets barged in the back by Jensen Jones. It'll be a Boston free kick, and the last action of the half will be a Boston chance to make it 4.
Yeah, really clumsy, and Sunderland should be in half time at 3. Boston got the opportunity now to load the box with everyone back for Sunderland as well, and try and find a first half 4th. Burke initially there should have cleared, failed to, and again Boston picked the ball up high up the pitch. It has been a feature of this first half. And
Carson, free kick from the left hand side, delivered in towards Cropper, headed away. Free kick goes against Jordan Cropper, and it will be a Sunderland free kick in their own penalty area, and I imagine that will be the last kick of the half.
I think so. It'll be interesting to see if Boston do make those changes straight away. If tonight's not the night for Finley Ging, I think you'll wonder when it ever will be. And Billy Bradley, as we say, not involved since the opening day either. So the opportunity for Boston to give minutes to those that need them and rest to those that need it as well. John Lewis maybe will be grateful for a rest, but a player on a hat-trick and a goal scorer like Lionel John Lewis is going to be caught in two minds, I think.
So there we go, half-time. It is dominant from Boston. It's fair to say they are 3-0 up here against Sunderland, but it could be many more. Lionel John Lewis with 2 goals, one coming from across from the left-hand side. Carson played the ball across and John Lewis able to tap in at the near post. The second was a mistake at the back from Sunderland, and now John Lewis turned on the penalty spot, having gifted the ball to put it home. The third was a save from Isaac Allen from a John Lewis shot, and there was Jordan Cropper who fired it into the roof of the net. It has been a game of so many chances though, Christian.
Absolutely. Boston, their play and particularly winning the ball back high up the pitch has absolutely warranted this first half ascendancy. They go in 3-0, they give the manager all the options he could possibly desire from this evening. Fantastic half for Boston. The scoreline tells the story. 2 very, very accomplished finishes. Cropper, good to see your right wing back getting involved and getting himself opening Boston United colours as well.
Yeah, Boston will be making changes at half time. We know Jordan Cropper will be one of those that'll come off, but again, you're almost, and we'll talk about this more with the management team at the end of the game, but he's talked about those 21 players stepping up to the mark of men's football. It's when you see them now against 21s, are we starting to see them getting used to National League football because of what they're looking like tonight? Yeah,
absolutely. I think as much as they won the Leeds game 4-0, it did look kind of 2 teams at the same level, at the same stage of their progression. You now see Boston's step back, if it is a step back, and it maybe is in terms of that development from youth to senior, step back and play an under-21 team now, and they do look head and shoulders above. There's just a bit of physicality, but there's presence as well. It's midfield presence, it's anticipation, it's been the build-up play, it's been even just the pass completion from Sunderland. I think that's what will really frustrate them. Boston have been good at winning the ball back and winning those second balls, but Sunderland have given them so many opportunities to do so.
So far so good then for Boston United. As thoughts Christian James at half-time. It has been a comfortable evening so far for the Pilgrims, who lead here by 3-0. Hopefully they can maintain that as the second half goes on. We'll be back in around 15 minutes time for second half commentary of Boston against Sunderland, but to guide you through the goals elsewhere in the National League Cup, and I think an early goal for Gainsborough Trinity tonight as well in the Northern Premier Division, here's Callum.
In this competition, half-time scores of Braintree 1, Nottingham Forest 0, Forest Green 1, Wolves 0, Rochdale 1, Blackpool 2, Scunthorpe 0, Leeds United 1, Solihull 1, Birmingham 0, Sutton 0, Brighton 0, Truro 0, Fulham 0, Wilton 1, Leicester 1, Royal 2, Southampton 0, Bradford 1, Manchester United 0, Tamworth 0, Everton 0. Later kick-offs. September brings us 2 more home fixtures that are coming up fairly soon, both in the Enterprise National League. Firstly, this coming Saturday, we host Boreham Wood at 3 p.m. August, Wednesday, 24th, a week tomorrow, we're hosting Braintree Town here. Kick off back, of course, at 7:45. Our next away game in the Enterprise National League is to Sutton United, a week on Saturday, 26th of September, kicking off at 3 p.m. I would encourage you to go and have a great lane and park the car park here. £5.45. Cost of members £15. Tickets remain available for our sportsman's dinner with Stan Collymore and comedian Jed Stone here at Jacobs Community Stadium on Thursday the 25th of September. The evening will also feature a 3-course meal for all guests. To make a booking, the tickets priced at £60 per head. Please see the club website for contact details. Lucy's next fundraising event is their comedy night here at 8 p.m. on Friday the 10th of October. Please do see committee members for details. Tickets for that are £15. Lucy's comedy night. That date for you again, Friday the 10th of October, 8 p.m.
We
Yeah, Boston players back out on the pitch ahead of the second half. We are going to see a change at the break, one we got told about pre-match with manager Graham Coughlin. If you ever miss any of the opportunities to hear from the manager, always ahead of the game, we speak with him about his team selection just after 2 o'clock on a Saturday and just after 7 on a Tuesday. We're going to see 2 changes. In fact, we're going to see Billy Bradley coming on for Jordan Cropper, and we're going to see Finley Ging on for Teal by the looks of it. Yeah, so 2 of those players that Graham Coughlin talked about. Cropper we knew would only last 45, but the other ones he named were Richards, Lancashire and Teal. So Lancashire and Richards are the 2. I mean, Richards is an easier change with Sloggett and Hill on the bench, but Ging and Bradley on.
And I would imagine Linnell John Lewis will probably therefore be your 5th man to go off, given he's back in the start today, but on a hat-trick. He'll be hoping to complete that before he's withdrawn. Finley Ging making his Boston United debut. Bradley, his 3rd appearance of the season, having already come on against Leeds in this competition, and then to see time out at Aldershot on the opening day. Pilgrim shuffling their ranks in the back line. I thought we were going to be retaking kickoff, but the referee's found
a free kick,
an infringement.
We're just waiting for the announcer to catch up with the substitution.
Yeah, my apprentice just needs to sharpen up a little bit.
So Boston leading here by 3-0.
31 Finley Ging and 33.
Another free kick given away by Hampson. Sunderland have it out on the left-hand side, cleared away by Boston. John Lewis, lovely inside ball for Coyle. Run down the right-hand side for Boston is Bradley. Played back for Ging. And then all the way back to Lancashire. Goes out to the left-hand side now for Carson. And again, slotted in very well at left wing-back so far for the Pilgrims, and certainly if he continues in that vein, he's going to make it very hard for Michael Kelly, who's ill tonight, to find a way into the team.
This is it, managers say, don't they, once you've got the shirt, don't give your manager a reason to take it off you again. And Carson looked bright on Saturday off the bench, and he's looked bright in that left wing-back role tonight as well from the start.
As cross comes in for Boston, Donnelly can't quite control it, and then gets caught and wins a free kick 25 yards out. Is Linnell John Lewis a free kick expert?
I think if there's ever the time, 3-0 up and 2 goals to his name in the National League Cup, I think we'll see it. I'm not just sure. He's sniffing around it. Yellow card as well. I wasn't too sure it was a free kick, but the referee saw something I didn't. That's what he's paid to do, and he's booked the Black Cats man as well. This is a fairly healthy range. I mean, we're well beyond the D, aren't we?
Carson or Coyle, the 2 options. Probably
right footer.
Suits the right footer, doesn't it? But Carson is the man who's lining it up here. So just 2 and a bit minutes into this second half, it will be a free kick for Boston in a dangerous position, 25 yards out from goal, central area. Carson delivers the free kick and takes a deflection off the wall, and Boston will have their 4th corner of the evening.
I did wonder if they were just going to roll it. I think it was Lancashire had peeled off, and we've seen Boston come up with a couple of creative things from set pieces this season. None of them have really come off as of yet, and Lancashire had a lot of space to deliver across. As it is, via a deflection, it's a corner, and the left-back Carson can take it and outswing with his left foot.
Which he does. Grist heads it back across goal, cleared away by Jensen Jones. And out for a Boston throw. It's going to be taken by Bradley for Coyle. And then back to Lancashire in the centre circle. Boston leading here by 3-0. Carson goes long down the left-hand side. Hampson chests it infield. Can't quite get it through for Linnell John Lewis. And the referee is going to book here Owen Hampson for blocking the free kick.
Yeah, maybe a little bit petulant from Hampson. He's done it 2 or 3 times and got away with it, but just cushioned the free kick from about 2 yards away. And the referee, having just shown a yellow card to the away side, evens things up.
As Hampson this time gets the free kick for the foul elsewhere in the National League Cup. Brackley have just gone 2-0 up against Manchester United, and Tamworth lead Everton by 1-0. Ball with Carson on the left-hand side. Lovely threaded ball down the left wing for Donnelly. Goes inside on his right foot and plays it straight at the goalkeeper. And it's just not, at the moment, Kieran Donnelly's night in terms of getting it into the back of the net.
Well, he whipped around the trialist Grant with little difficulty, but then straight at the goalkeeper with pretty much all of the net to aim at. Donnelly, he found his goal-scoring touch in this competition earlier in the season, back from injury here, and he'll certainly be hoping against an opposition that have ceded plenty of chances that he can get going again in this second little portion of his season.
Ball with Carson, goes back to his goalkeeper, Bobby Jones. There's 2 goals for John Lewis, 1 for Cropper in that first half, giving Boston a commanding position, which would make it 3 wins from 3 in this competition. An almost certain progression. Wouldn't be confirmed tonight, but would basically be there. As Donnelly just shoulders off his man, plays it out to the left to Hampson. Carson's made a run forward. Hampson can't quite poke it through for him, but it's picked up again by Richards. Now with Coyle, just slips as he plays it out to Bradley on the right-hand side. Back for Ging, and then across for Lancashire once again. Driving forward, got Carson to his left-hand side. Lancashire lays it off for Carson. First time cross into the box. Chance, still another chance for Boston United. Donnelly, John Lewis tries to get there. Is it in? No, the goalkeeper gathers it just on the line.
And John Lewis, I think it is, has gone down under a fairly hefty challenge in all of that. There was a big shout for a penalty, not given. Boston twice in that attack, picking the ball up so easily in midfield again. Richards just landing on a loose ball, but as much as he's playing well and picking up the right pockets of space, it's stray passes from Sunderland, which look fairly simple, that are going wayward. They're not going to get back into this game if they carry on as they did in the first half, and Boston have settled straight back into an ascendancy.
I don't think John Lewis can quite believe that I think a free kick's gone Sunderland's way here, because the referee's got the ball in his hands.
And Rio Grant's just walked off for some treatment.
Yeah, he has, hasn't he? Yeah. It's just down that, up on the left-hand touchline, maybe just getting a blow to the face by the looks of it. So Sunderland temporarily are down to 10. The ball in the arms of Isaac Allen. As Southampton pull a goal back against Woking, 2-1 now to Woking in that one. Elsewhere in the National League Cup this evening, as Richards gets it, can Boston make the most of playing against 10 here for temporarily? Lovely through ball. It's a chance for Boston to make it 4, which they do, and it's Kieran Donnelly's goal. Dominant.
Absolutely, Boston have picked up exactly where they left off in that first half. Donnelly 4 now for the season, 4 in this competition, and having missed out on a couple of similar opportunities in behind, a bit of work, quick feet in behind, and then time to pick his spot. Isaac Allen, the Sunderland goalkeeper, has done very little wrong this evening, and he's conceded 4 goals comfortably before the hour mark. Boston have been dominant, they've looked ruthless, and they've started, as we say, the second half how they ended the first, and on this occasion made advantage of playing with 10 men, with Rio Grant off the pitch, being patched up after that heavy challenge on John Lewis the attack before.
Yeah, Donnelly, lovely fired finish into the bottom left to make it 4-0. Again, another goal in the National League Cup, as Christian mentioned, for the Boston forward. So 4-0 to Boston, and we've only played 7 minutes of this second half. Long ball forward once again. Donnelly can't quite get on the end of it this time. Carson goes chasing after it, played inside. Richards wins it back. Coyle forward for Donnelly. He couldn't play it for John Lewis. It's with the number 4 for Sunderland, Marshall Burke. Goes back to his goalkeeper, Isaac Allen. Out to the left-hand side, John Lewis going chasing after it. Bradley going chasing after it, but it's played forward by Sunderland, and then Grist comes into the challenge, does really well, Ben Grist. Moving it forward, out to the right-hand side for John Lewis. Oh dear, he's got his head in his hands, and I think most of the people in the crowd who want him to get that hat-trick have as well.
Well, and a few of the crowd would be parked in that car park. He's just deposited that right-wing ball into as well. They had 2 or 3 options in the box. He was definitely trying to play it across, but just wedged it over that north stand. Boston looking for a 5th. Again, so early in this game, but full credit to them. They've got an opportunity tonight to find a bit of confidence, find a bit of form in front of goal, and that's certainly been the tale of the tape in 50 or so minutes up to now.
Graham Coughlin, Lee Ball and Jamie Rayner are all in conversation. I wonder what the conversation is at the moment.
I can't imagine they're going to hold that against John Lewis after 2 goals in the first half.
No, I suppose it is who do you decide to take off here, isn't it? Because you don't want to lose a player through injury, especially when the game's done and dusted. But it's these kind of games that footballers will always say that they don't want to come off, do they? Because especially as forward players, because they know there's goals and chances available for them.
Absolutely, and we've seen creativity from the back line as well. They'll be looking to show they can have an impact at the top end of the pitch as well. It was Carson's cross for the first that really made it, and Grist's done so much good work in an attacking sense tonight as well.
Ball played forward. Boston trying to get there. It's played by Grant straight to Jordan Richards. John Lewis forward now for Donnelly to go running after it. Goalkeeper comes and gathers it. Well shepherded by Holcroft.
And I suppose we don't know the draw yet, but there's an opportunity here for Boston to get used to being that team that's expected to win, that is on top, because so often in the league this season they won't be in that position, and yet just down the line, and it's something that they so spectacularly failed to handle last year, being that team that's expected to dominate a game and to score goals against Gainsborough. If they get a similar tie this year, they'll be in better stead having played these games.
Grist does really well, gets the ball back from John Lewis, tries to play it across for Donnelly, still with Grist. Can't get it back now. Bradley tries to slide into the challenge, but Sunderland have won it. And Ben Grist has done that a number. I think we've seen him get forward more tonight from right sided centre half than we saw him at right wing back, which he's played for quite a spell of this season.
Yeah, there's looked like a bit of attacking acumen there, whereas he did look a little bit like a round peg in a square hole earlier on in the season, given that responsibility. Wasn't quite so keen to track back there on this occasion, but Richards has slotted in, and Grist's now taken up a midfield role.
Sunderland play it forward, cleared away by Boston, out for a Sunderland throw. Forest Green 1-1 now with Wolves. That's where in the National League Cup tonight. As the away side try and work the 1-2 edge of the penalty area again, Boston have dealt with it. Coyle again looked more comfortable in that central midfield role than he did at right wing back earlier in this season. It seems like the right wing back position is just a position that nobody seems to be comfortable in apart from Jordan Cropper. Hampson has to be careful, nearly pulled his man back there, and on a yellow card you don't want to pick up a silly suspension.
No, and this is a referee that's had previous sending Boston players off. Cameron Gregory, when he got his awful jaw injury at Altrincham, this was the referee that sent him off there. Sent off Ben Middleton at York Street against Chorley a few years ago as well, Aaron Bannister. So not been afraid to show the red card against the Pilgrims in the past. Hopefully no need this evening. As you say, it would be criminal, especially 4-0 up in the game, to attract any sort of suspension.
John Lewis flicks it on. Donnelly trying to get there. Ball back to Allen in the Sunderland goal. 4 goals going past him. 2 for John Lewis, 1 for Donnelly, 1 for Cropper in this game. Boston 4-0 up. They already have got a 4-0 win here in this competition against last year's winners Leeds. Plus that 2-1 win against Middlesbrough.
20 goals conceded in 6 games this season for Isaac Allen now. Have to say, to his credit, wouldn't really put anything down to him tonight, but this Sunderland team have conceded goals in the Premier League too. They conceded a couple in this competition at Glanford Park, and Isaac Allen's last game they conceded a couple in the Premier League Cup as well, and that defensive frailty is shown again against the senior team tonight.
Coyle can't quite win the 50-50 challenge. Here's the away side coming forward though. Grist plays it up against his man now with Ethan Moore on the left hand side. Back to Jensen Jones. Boston can't quite steal it in the midfield. Ball clipped over the top, and Jones gets caught there by Jensen Jones.
It was very unnecessary. That it was just it wasn't malicious. It was a little kick out at the shins of Bobby Jones, completely unnecessary. Alex Lancashire's taken exception to it, and Ethan Moore's coming for a bit of afters as well for the away side, but no need there. Again, don't attract the sort of attention from the referee.
We are going to see changes come in for Boston. Jordan Richards is going to be the next man to be replaced. Again, as we would have expected, Greg Sloggett coming on, and we are going to see Manny Norpitt coming on. And is it going to be for Linnell John Lewis, or is it going to be for Kieran Donnelly?
Suspect probably
Donnelly.
Donnelly, I agree, yeah.
Substitutions for the Pilgrims. Leading the field, number 19, Jordan Richards.
Well, Donnelly's got his goal tonight, and Norkie will be planning on doing similar against the the opposition United have come up against this evening. The chances there to find the form in front of goal again. Norkit 1 goal so far in 8 appearances this season. It leaves John Lewis in place to try and complete that hat-trick for the Pilgrims as well.
So Donnelly, with his customary National League Cup goal again tonight, makes way, sits on that bench and can enjoy it like the rest of us. See the Sunderland coach already got the lights on, ready to go. They will be desperate for the final whistle to go, but we've got another half an hour of football to play here. Boston 4-0 up here on Hope and Glory. Ball is with Sloggett, back to Lancashire on the halfway line. Now with Grist, forward for Coyle. Out to the right hand side for Bradley, back to Finlay Ging. Those two coming on at half time. Ging into John Lewis, backing into his man, protects it, played back for Coyle. Coyle out to the left for Carson. Lancashire on the overlap. Carson instead goes inside for Coyle. Now back to Sloggett. One of those two changes just coming on for Boston. And Ging fires it forward. Norkit going chasing after it. Dealt with by Sunderland's number 12 Grant, and then a long ball forward from right to left. Work for Ging to do as he just gets something on it, and it will be a Sunderland corner.
It had to be a corner out, so it's going to be a foul, and the referee had a real decision to make on the edge of the box as Sunderland man Whittaker stays down. Black Cats 4 behind, and the only change they've made was enforced. They have, as we suggested they may, stuck by the pattern of play and the personnel, and unfortunately for them, they haven't been able to effect a change. United have kept their foot on the throat. They've now made the changes as well, so you've got fresh, hungry players wanting to come and have a slice of the action. Norkit a big opportunity here to get himself off the mark at home. Scored, of course, that equaliser at Hartlepool. What was it, a couple of weeks ago now? In the 1-1 draw.
Yeah, so corner for Sunderland then. Their second of the evening, right-footed in-swinger. Last one was gathered comfortably by Jones. This time it's in towards the near post, headed away by Boston. Sunderland pick it up, but going back towards their own goal on the halfway line. Norkit goes and engages. Played out to the left-hand side, though, for Sunderland. Grist can't win the challenge. Hampson can't quite get there. Grant does well, and then plays it behind his man. It's one which Middlemas has to sprint for. Played forward. And there's a push in the back of Carson, and it'll be a free kick. Elsewhere this evening locally, Gainsborough Trinity still leading by a goal to nil in the Northern Premier Division. They're taking on Whitby tonight. Win for Trinity potentially could see them go top. A couple more goals for them would see them top of the table. Elsewhere, Bourne 0-0 at Emley. Lincoln United are 1-0 down in the East Division at Sutton Coldfielders. Jones goes long. Bradley trying to get in behind, but free kick goes against him. And it is just about how you maintain the momentum. There's been a lot of changes, Christian, opening 15 minutes of second half, and it's just for Boston trying to get that momentum going again.
Yeah, you don't want it to settle into that sort of pre-season rhythm interrupted by the substitutions. And as I said, a real opportunity here for the Pilgrims to add to that goals tally and maybe see a couple of new faces on the score sheet as well. But I'm sure the manager will emphasise a clean sheet, that habit of keeping clean sheets, which they've failed to do so far in the league. They did in this competition against Leeds, and I'm sure the first thing he'll be hungry for is to see Bobby Jones go untroubled again.
Jones clears long. Norkit doesn't win the header. He does get the second ball. Carson did really well there. John Lewis makes the run, peels off towards the far side. He's going to try and get there. John Lewis back across goal. Can't quite get it through to Hampson. Tried his best there to poke it through for Boston's fifth, but didn't quite get enough on it. I just wonder whether with John Lewis they might think, is there a stage when enough is enough? We'd like you to get your hat-trick, but we also want you to be available on Saturday against Boreham Wood.
You'd have thought they've maybe said at half-time, given he was already on a brace then, we're going to give you 25 minutes, and then it will be Alonzi. Alonzi would be the obvious change.
Oh, Sloggett into the challenge there. Sorry, Christian, there's a hefty challenge, and now it's a chance for Sunderland now on the left-hand side with Ethan Moore. No players in the box for the time being. Cross comes in, Lancashire heads it away. Shot comes in from a long way out, and that's straight into the midriff of Bobby Jones. Still, Boston leading here by 4 goals to nil.
Well struck, but very central. Jones just stunning it into the turf and then getting 2 arms around it, collecting it gratefully. He said there was no one in the box there, but Boston cleared it and it fell to one of those men just arriving on the edge of it. Well struck, but Jones equal to it. Good concentration from him.
Norkett for Boston out on the right hand side. Back to Ging. And then Grist. Cross to Lancashire. Back to Grist once again, just on the halfway line. Boston in control of this game, looking to make it 3 wins from 3 in this competition. Coyle flicks it long down the Boston right. Bradley goes chasing after it. Norkett there as well. Played back for Grant, and then Lancashire wins it back for the Pilgrims. John Lewis, edge of the penalty area, does well to get it out for Lancashire. Carson's on the overlap. Played for the Boston left wing back, the number 15, going to try and take on his man, but good defending this time from Jensen Jones, and he clips it over the head of both the Boston man in Lancashire and the Sunderland man in Jones, and Jaden Jones that is, and now it's with Coyle midway inside the Sunderland half to slog it back to Coyle once again, out to the right for Bradley. Forward ball, for Bradley this time now, to take on his man, out for a Boston throw.
And no Croppers to deliver into the box this time, but again Boston twice in the build up to that won the ball back comfortably in Sunderland's half in that central area. It's been the cornerstone of this performance really, the second balls and picking possession up easily in midfield, and on that occasion it was 2 good bits of defensive work, but so often it's been poor Sunderland passes. They were encamped there really, 2 banks of 4, inviting pressure, and Boston more than happy to deliver it.
Long ball forward by Grist for Norkett. Looking to play the ball in behind for Hampson, didn't quite get through again, just a Sunderland man be able to block it, and now they look to come forward with Whittaker, but can't do so. A few of the Sunderland players look absolutely shattered as well, don't they? They're chasing shadows at times.
Walking pace in that midfield. They've only made the 1 change. They've got 5 more outfielders on the bench, and it's maybe not uncharitable to say they can't possibly be any more sluggish than this midfield have been in the last 10 minutes or so.
Given away by Coyle, that was poor from him, but he's slid in to win it back against his fellow number 7 in Jensen Jones, and Boston do have it on the edge of their own penalty area where Lancashire goes across to Grist, and Graham Coughlan's talked about wanting his side to get clean sheets, just the 1 all season so far in this competition against Leeds, and he won't want any sloppy play to make that 2 games, get rid of the second game without a clean sheet. As Norkett come forward down the right hand side, runners in the box. Norkett back inside on his left foot, gets the shot away. Allen palms it away. John Lewis nearly got a touch on it. Back out to the left hand side now. Calls of handball, corner given.
John Lewis pleading with the referee there to give him the chance from the penalty spot to complete this hat-trick. It's not coming. I think it probably did strike an arm. It was one of those where if it was VAR in the Premier League, we'd be talking about outside the line in the body in unnatural positions, but this level of football, the referee's word is final and instant, and it is going to be a corner for the Pilgrims. John Lewis will have to try and head this one in instead of getting the opportunity from 12 yards.
Yep, we are 22 minutes into this second half. It's Boston 4, Sunderland 0. Left-footed out-swinging corner for the Pilgrims towards the far post. Grist knocks it down and just wide of Allen's post as Forest Green go 3-1 up against Wolves under-21s tonight. Elsewhere in the National League Cup, but Boston with the dominant scoreline, 4-0 up here.
A margin they've only achieved once under Graham Cotton previously, and it was their previous game in this competition this season, the 4 second half goals against Leeds.
Ball out to the right hand side for Bradley, to Coyle, back to Ging, cross for Ben Grist, and then Lancashire goes back to Bobby Jones, and we just need, as much as we have loved seeing Boston play the way they have, we just want a little bit more urgency back in the game, I think, Christian, again now, because otherwise it's going to be a long final quarter.
Yeah, I failed to get the stopwatch going at half time. I was a little surprised when you just said halfway through the half there. Is Craig's going to deliver us the attendance tonight?
486. 486.
486 the attendance.
It's certainly stronger than we saw in this competition last season. Bit of a cooler night tonight, and with plenty of games coming up and the availability of this fixture elsewhere, fair play to those that have come down. a reasonable attendance, and certainly better than some that we'll see around the grounds tonight, 486, and I'm sure there should be plenty more here for the 2 upcoming league games against Boreham Wood and Braintree.
We are going to see a number of changes. We're going to see, coming on, Felix Scott in place of Jaden Jones as the first of the changes.
Jones, the 10, been as much of a threat as anyone for me in the Sunderland team. Gets an early rest.
Bailey Hest. No, we're not seeing Bailey Hest. This is the 2 that have swapped shirts, isn't it?
Yes, so this is Garagusian.
Yeah, Garagusian is coming on. So Garagusian is coming on for Jack Whittaker. That's change number 2 of this trio, and the third is going to be Joe Neild, and he is coming on in place of, I think Sunderland is waiting to see if the man who's down in middle in Jensen Jones is okay to continue or not. It looks like he's going to be okay, so it's going to be Finlay Holcroft on and Joe Neild replacing him.
For Sunderland leaving the field, number 2, Finlay Holcroft.
Well, we said a couple of minutes ago they vastly short of legs in midfield these last 10 or 15 minutes or so, and it looks as though it is going to be a central role. Those new players get involved. A new forward, Garagusian, for the Pilgrims to try and keep out as they seek their second clean sheet of the season.
So Jones will take this free kick, Bobby Jones that is, and Boston will get things back underway, leading here by 4-0. Still one change for Boston to be able to use. Options of Reece Lover, the goalkeeper. You can't imagine we'll see Dylan Hill or Luca Alonzi. You would imagine Alonzi would be the one to get some match minutes, and as I say that, Dylan Hill arrives.
Wrong. There you go.
The dugout.
Which, unless Hill's going to kind of tick off that central forward role as one of the few he's not tried for Boston, it's going to mean that John Lewis gets the 90, which would be a little bit of a
Coyle's
surprise.
gone down here. Chris kicks it out of play.
And that would be a natural position for Dylan Hill to take up. So it does appear it's going to be 8 on for 7, and now John Lewis is going to have the full hour and a half to try and complete his hat-trick in. Fourth official's still got the last change on his board. Here we go. It is a red number 7. So Coyle's night's over. He's been impressive in central midfield, helping Richards out, winning so many of those balls and those stray passes from Sunderland in the midfield area.
Final substitution for the Pilgrims, leaving the field.
If I was a top midfielder 4-0 down, a long way from home on a Tuesday night, I don't think I'd want Dylan Hill coming on with those ever-fresh legs with 20 minutes to go.
His replacement is
I
Dylan Hill.
agree. I don't think he is the type of player you would want to see coming on.
And he'll maybe be thinking he's got an opportunity tonight to get a goal himself. Just 1 so far for the Pilgrims in what is now 96 appearances for young Dylan Hill. It was a big one though at Banbury, of course, the start of that run of away results that got Boston up into the National League. His first substitute outing of the season.
I'm just doing a bit of research. It doesn't look like Lionel John Lewis has ever scored a hat-trick in his professional career.
That surprises me.
So he will be desperate to try and complete it. Just a quick search. I can't seem to find a hat-trick for Lionel John Lewis.
Well, strikers are paid to put the ball in the net, and if his mantelpiece is short of one of those match balls, then I'm sure he'll take it however it comes. He's got an opportunity here.
Yeah, a few braces in his career, as you would expect from a centre forward who knows how to find the back of the net, but by the looks of it, no hat-trick.
Maybe testament to the fact he kept himself at as high a level as possible. It's only at 36 he's taken the step down now. 34 with York and then latterly with the Pilgrims, and thankfully never managed to score more than the 1 in a game against Boston in his York City days.
Boston in possession, not missing any of the action. Boston happy just stroking it around in their own half at the moment with Hill. Looks to set Bradley off down the right hand side, and he's offside.
little too eager there. John Lewis it is still a front two, but John Lewis has taken a slightly more reserved role. Norkett, the fresher legs, able to get a little further up the pitch than he was in that attack.
Sloggett steals it back. Here comes Dylan Hill forward for Norkett, who's offside. Straight at the goalkeeper anyway. Hampson tucks it home, but won't count.
Again, just too eager for the Pilgrims there. A bit of youthful exuberance from Bradley, and then Norkett more recently attracting the linesman's attention. Boston have got the opportunity here to try and score one or two more. And as we say, just improve the records, or in John Lewis's case, a career first so late in his playing days.
Which would be good to see if he can go and get that goal. 16 minutes to play, 4-0 to Boston here. John Lewis with a brace, Cropper and Donnelly the other goal scorers as Jones clears it away. Boston trying to win it back through Norkett. Sunderland have it in the centre circle at the moment. BBC Radio Lincolnshire, it's Boston leading here by 4-0. Commentary at the Pilgrims on Saturday afternoon as they take on Boreham Wood. Dale Story, Mark Clifford will be alongside. They'll be here for commentary alongside one another, and that'll be available on FM, DAB and Freeview, as well as online on BBC Sounds on Saturday afternoon, with it being an early kick-off for Lincoln City against Luton Town. So 2 games for you on Saturday, and then 2 games next midweek as well. Boston Braintree here on Wednesday. Lincoln taking on the world champions in Chelsea next Tuesday night.
Thank goodness you didn't have to choose which one of those 2 games you wanted to attend, Rob.
I know, it's going to be a good week of football, I think it's fair to say.
You'll get a grounding on Wednesday after the high of maybe seeing Chelsea off.
Rochdale leading Blackburn by 3-2. Boston, the subs have just not clicked into gear, have they, at the moment? And you'd imagine we've had a lot of stoppages, haven't we, in this game in the second half, and it's just starting to tell ever so slightly in terms of the performance.
The only thing that looked like interrupting Boston's momentum, it looked as though it was probably going to be 4, 5, 6, 7 for the Pilgrims, but not really made too many inroads, not from an onside position anyway in the last 10 or 15 minutes. Still got the freedom of that midfield to pick balls up as they please, though.
Lovely knockdown from John Lewis for Hampson, and now it's broken out to the right-hand side. Norkett didn't go chasing after it. Sunderland are able to come away with it. Bradley and Norkett now, or Bradley and John Lewis, in fact, going chasing after that one. Grist can't quite win it on the halfway line. It's with Sunderland's look to switch it out to the right-hand side for Ethan Moore. Just a heavy touch, but he's able to keep it in play, and now look to use his pace to take on Carson. Does well, gets it into the near post. Grist able to clear it away, and I think Matty Carson maybe just feeling the strain of not having too much football this season for Grimsby.
Yeah, a man that hasn't seen 90 minutes too often so far this campaign. He's going to have to play 90 here, and he does look one of not too many Pilgrims that are getting towards the end of a big shift and just starting to catch up with them. John Lewis still looks hungry at that top end. He's got Norkett there to do the pressing for him now. We praised him in the first half for his movement, but quite understandably it is going to be a little bit more of a target man and a willing runner alongside him in these final 10 or 15 minutes.
Whole host of 7:45 kickoffs elsewhere in Lincolnshire football this evening. Gainsborough 1-0 up against Whitby Town in the Northern Premier Division. Bourne drawing 0-0 at Emley, and Lincoln United taking on Sutton Coldfield. Lincoln United currently 1-0 down.
And that game Spalding will be keeping an eye on has got to half time at 1-0 to Dagenham.
Yes, ball is with Boston, but they just lose out on the right hand side. Lincoln United 1-0 down to Emley, got Bourne 0-0. All won back by Boston in the midfield. Hampson gets it out to the right hand side for the Pilgrims. Now with Hampson again to Hill. Plays it to the left for Carson. Back to Dylan Hill again. Now with Hampson. Back for Ging. Can Boston find themselves a fifth here? Game just gone to walking pace at the moment. Grist to Lancashire. Out to the left to Hill. Forward ball looking for Norkit. Oh, it's a lucky deflection. John Lewis is through on goal. Potentially Norkit tries to go on his own, and John Lewis was free in the middle of goal.
I think there might be a quiet word for Manny Norkit in the changing room if John Lewis doesn't find the third, because he was in acres of space. The pass was the easy option, and not only did he not make the pass, he didn't finish himself either.
That was the chance, potentially, wasn't it? That was a bit of luck along the way for Norkit to find his way through, but John Lewis free in the middle of goal. Jones forward for Carson, wins the flick on, too much on it.
I'm sure the sponsors will be invited to put forward a man of the match tonight, and I think Carson would be a worthy recipient. Richards in the first half was very, very impressive as well. Unusual perhaps on face value when Boston scored 4 goals that we're talking about more defensively minded players, but it's been a key attribute, particularly that first half, the fullbacks getting forward, and Carson's looked really bright from the start for me.
Sloggett tries to play it back through for Boston. It's gone back to the goalkeeper Allen. Hampson was closing him down. Allen under a bit of pressure fires away, and out for a Boston United throw inside their own half.
You'd say this is Boston all but cemented in the knockout stages of these competition.
Yeah, nine points from 9. When you look at the rest of the group, Leeds and Sunderland, Scunthorpe and Middlesbrough all would have played 2 games, and out of those, Sunderland and Leeds still with the chance of getting to 9. Boston would definitely be above a whole host of other teams. So not quite there, but near enough, you would say, as Norkit wins Boston United a throw.
Yeah, the 4 groups last season, there were only 2 in which a team got 8 points that didn't get through. Boston were one of those teams. If you remember, we sat here in January discussing penalties at Tamworth and the like, and Maidenhead United were the other one. They got 8 points in their group and finished 3rd as well, but 9 would have been enough to see you through in all 4 of the groups of last season's inaugural National League Cup, and you'd be fairly confident, and Boston will of course know whether they're in for certain or not by the time Newcastle come here, that the Newcastle result isn't going to mean too much other than to the balance sheet and to the confidence of the Pilgrims.
Hampson wins a free kick, 10 minutes to play here on BBC Radio Lincolnshire. It is a game which is just drifting, I think it is fair to say. Hill in possession for Boston, goes across the halfway line for Ging. Out to the right to Bradley. Sloggett infield if they want to use him. Instead they go back for Grist. And then back out for Ging on his Boston United debut tonight. Grist again. Out to the right to Ging. Back to Grist. And all the way back to Jones. Sunderland just pressing a little higher, not allowing Boston out. Jones clears it long, looking for Bradley. Wins the header inside. Norkit. Back for Hill, now with Sloggett. Ball tried to be played in behind the Sunderland defender, Neild. For Norkit, couldn't quite get there though. Norkit snaps at the heels of Neild, who comes away with possession. Then clips it down the right-hand side for Ethan Moore. Carson getting a touch on it. Lancashire will help it back for Jones. And Jones can clear it long, straight down the middle. Norkit doesn't quite get there. Grist fires it long and away. John Lewis has been caught, but Norkit's coming away with the ball. And then loses out once again. Graham Coughlin frustrated there.
I think just a sore one for John Lewis more than anything. Long-lasting, tangling with the trialist Grant.
Yeah, came on just before half-time at centre-half as Bradley gives away the free kick.
John Lewis does make it happen. It'd be the 4th Boston United hat-trick here at the Jakeman's Community Stadium after Scott Pollock against Leamington, Billy Chadwick against Farsley and Kelsey Mooney in March 2024 against Farsley. United have played 115 competitive games here already.
Ball is with Boston, out to the right-hand side for Bradley. Back to Ging, clip forward and out of play. Wealdstone 2-1 up against Leicester, and Graham Coughlin, I think, what I thought would be a happy interview at full time, I think is going to end up being one of those where he's not happy.
I think you should have had a word with him at half time.
Yeah, we
that was,
just done
that
it
was
at half
the time.
We should have done a Premier League-esque half-time interview and just said that was it, job done. Because I feel he's going to be a little bit more frustrated when I talk to him at full time. Although here come Boston coming forward now. John Lewis makes the run down the middle. Is he going to get there in front of the goalkeeper? No, he's not. Hampson tried to slot it through for him.
The veteran selecting the game found a turn of pace with a hat-trick on the line there. I think his energy reserves are probably fleeting, but surged through past the defence, past Grant again. It's been a bit of a mismatch since John Lewis has been up against him, the Sunderland substitute, and Allen, who we can't emphasise enough really. I feel he's done well, the goalkeeper. He's conceded 4, but he's been sharp, he's been alert. He couldn't really have done anything with any of the goals. After that shaky moment that Donnelly didn't capitalise on in the first half, he's been one of the few credible performances in this away team this afternoon.
Ball looking for John Lewis, thrown forward. Won back in the midfield by Sloggett, who just then loses out in the 50-50 challenge. Hill has to go and try chase after it. It's played forward by Sunderland. Challenge comes in from Grist. Sprint back from Ging, who just gets caught ever so slightly, but Boston come away with the ball and fired into the challenge to Ging. And then wins it back, plays it for Bradley. Now with Grist, just slips as he clears it. Sunderland have it once again through Middlemass in the midfield. Hampson trying to go chasing after it, but kept hold of it well there, Marshall Burke. Forward for Sunderland once again. It's with Scott. Carson with the back heel and now sets off on the attack again. Boston with an overload on the right hand side. Carson, tired ball though as he tried to find Norkett on the opposite side, and goes through to the Sunderland goalkeeper Allen once again as we enter the final 4.5 minutes of this game.
Yeah, a bit of a hefty challenge there from Finlay Ging. You wouldn't want to see him get into trouble on his Boston United debut. Fair play, opportunity to show the manager what he's about and show a bit of defensive mettle, but there is a line and you don't want to see any of the Pilgrims cross it now in these closing stages.
Sunderland have it on the halfway line. Hampson comes across to block it. Graham Coughlin's now taken a seat in the dugout as Leeds go 3-1 up at Scunthorpe. Elsewhere in this group, Scunthorpe will be one of those sides that can't catch Boston with that result. Sloggett drives forward now for Boston. Back to Hill. Now with Hampson once again. Again, it just goes back to a walking pace for Boston. Lancashire across to Grist. Then out to the right to Bradley. Arjun Reiki, another player not involved tonight.
I know the manager's been talking about the lack of depth at times, but he's got a fair few talents not involved this evening for one reason or another. Mills afforded a bit of a rest. Jacob Scott not involved. Huula, Kelly Hill and Maguire not yet back either. So you've got a bit of health amongst the Pilgrims ranks, which is good because there is a busy period coming up. 4 of the next 5 midweeks are full.
Hill has it. Out to the left to Carson. And the referee might as well just blow his whistle now, the way this game is petering out.
I think the managers could shake hands and none of the 400 or so here would ever let on that it finished 10 minutes early, because Sunderland, barring a Boston error, probably aren't going to impact the score, and the Pilgrims seem happy at 4-0.
Jones goes long. Header well won. Norkett tries to flick it on, but Allen will come out to the edge of his penalty area. Get Sunderland back going again. I don't think Bobby Jones made a save, has he?
No, the only bit of work I think he's had to do that looked remotely dangerous was that deflected one that he had to gather in the first half, but it was never in earnest going in, and he's been limited to possession off his centre halves really in the second 45.
Hill has it for Boston. Back to Grist. Across to Lancashire. Sunderland are about to make another change here.
Charles Dinsdale ready to go.
John Lewis works the 1-2 with Hampson nicely. Now a bit of space for Boston out on the right hand side. Slog it to Bradley. John Lewis in the box. Norkett in the box. John Lewis picks it up edge of the penalty area. Goes back for Boston. Now with Hill once again for Carson. Back to Hill for Hampson. Hill with it again. Lancashire joins forward from centre half. Back to Ben Grist on the halfway line. I think the sub might as well go and sit down, because I can't see the ball going out of play the way things are going.
No, Sunderland are a back six now, which is quite something.
Here comes Hampson. Hampson forward. John Lewis offside. It's just not going to be his night.
No, but I remember one or two occasions watching Jake Wright with 2 goals to his name, desperately trying to find a third from anywhere, and John Lewis is verging on comedy. He's so desperate for this hat-trick, and the right moment just hasn't arrived for him yet.
As the final change is made, Charles Dinsdale on for the number 9, Ethan Moore for Sunderland, into the final minute of the 90.
Moore, I'm sure, will be pleased getting pretty much a full game in after a very long injury layoff, 800 plus days, with a serious knee problem. Just thought for a second we were going to have that comedy moment that we saw with Aston Villa last year in Europe and a couple of other times, where the goalkeeper took the free kick, passed it to the centre half, and then he picked it up and took it again, but the referee not interested in making life easy for John Lewis.
He's trying to battle his way through, as is Hampson. Does well for Boston, out to the right hand side to Bradley. Get the cross into the box is what I say. Give him an opportunity to get his head on it. I think that's probably going to be the way it's going to come, this goal, because you say Sunderland are really sitting back. We've got 3 minutes of added time, which just starting now.
The fourth official has indicated a minimum of 3 minutes added time at the end of tonight's game, and a minimum of 3 minutes.
A little bit of the end of tonight's game added by Craig there to the 3 minutes of added time. Yeah,
I'm always open to taking notes. Hopefully I'll be selected, having been rested this evening. Myself and Reece Lovett will be just anxious to see the team sheet on Saturday.
Yeah, make sure you back him. Yeah. Ball back for Boston with Bobby Jones, who he's not had the chance to impress tonight, unfortunately for him. He'll be really, I imagine, a little frustrated in a way that, as John Lewis flicks it on looking for Norkett, he's not really going to do anything to make the manager think differently, is he?
Well, I suppose sometimes you can only, Boston generally can only beat what's in front of them, and if Jones isn't asked any questions of, there's nothing he can do. But he's going to pick up a clean sheet number 1 for him after appearance number 2. Join his housemate Lovett on 1 clean sheet so far this season. I'd go for Matty Carson there.
Is number 23, Owen Hampson.
Hampson gets man of the match.
Another new arrival, equally busy. He's appeared all over the pitch. And another one with Coyle and Richards that maybe haven't mentioned enough, has done well to win the ball back all over, particularly high up in midfield. And yeah, there's a credible case for any of the Pilgrims start, really, particularly those that have played the full 90. John Lewis with the brace.
As here comes Lancashire for Boston down the left hand side for Carson, delivers it low into the box, cleared away by Rio Grant. Carson will pick it up again on the left hand side, back for Sloggett across the halfway line to find Ging. Now with Grist, looks up, delivers a ball to the left to Carson. Lovely pass in field, but offside flag goes up against Carson.
That ball across in the first instance is just where John Lewis might have been 20 minutes ago, but he was still arriving late into the box. Big shift from him, first start after a little injury layoff, and he'll be hoping for a hat-trick tonight, but Boston, more importantly, will be hoping he's able to put in an hour or so again on Saturday.
Here comes Sunderland forward. Boston wanted to keep that clean sheet, but a chance for the visitors down the left with Garugazian, and it's out for the Sunderland throw. We've got 30 seconds remaining here. Sloggett blocks the ball forward.
Just a clean sheet and the manager's post-match mood on the line, really.
Yeah, it's been a comfortable evening for Boston United here. John Lewis can't quite take the touch and turn, and there is the full-time whistle. Well, job done for Boston United tonight. Comfortable 4-0 victory. A brace for Linnell, John Lewis. Jordan Cropper getting his first Boston United goal, and Kieran Donnelly rounding things off early on in the second half. It has been a easy night for Boston, and that's
3 p.m.
Yeah, they're able just to see it through. If they wish to, there probably were more goals out there for the Pilgrims, but 9 points in this competition now, 10 goals, and the manager was quite transparent in the pre-match build-up why the club are in this competition. But if he can keep getting home wins and goals out of his team in it, I'm sure he'll see the value on the playing side as well. And as you mentioned, Cropper off the mark, Donnelly just able to shake a bit of rust off after his layoff again. John Lewis has got through 90 minutes. We've had the opportunity to have a look at Finley Ging, and Billy Bradley's got involvement after 4 or 5 weeks away. So positives all over the park from the Pilgrims. The opposition's laid on for you, and they were far too good for them this evening, Sunderland.
And we have seen in this competition injuries picked up by Boston. Frankie Maguire probably was the key one early on this season against Middlesbrough, but looks like tonight everybody's going to come through unscathed and okay for the weekend.
Yeah, it seems to have been a clean bit of health from the Pilgrims. They were able to make changes as and when they wanted to, which they did. And say John Lewis probably the only surprise playing the full 90, but on the hat-trick you can understand it. A run out for Teal, but nothing silly. Richards the same, and Carson's got through 90 minutes, which is really credible after not too much involvement with Grimsby prior to his departure a week or so ago. And yeah, the Boston had the opportunity to use this exactly as they wanted to. They're as good as into that next round, and it takes any pressure that might have been on that Newcastle game off, barring the financial incentive, of course. So perfect record for United so far in this competition, and hopefully they can take that into the back-to-back home games they've got in the National League.
And Graham Coughlin is still not happy about the penalty decision which wasn't given to Jordan Cropper before I think a goal was scored.
Yes, which is an unusual one. A handshake there for the goalkeeper, Allen, that could have been penalised for that bizarre 2 arms round the midriff of Cropper there. And congratulations for John Lewis as well. I'm sure he'd have bitterly wanted that chance to complete the hat-trick in the second half, but United have put on a bit of a show for those that came out this evening. It was job done at half-time, but it was certainly job done after an hour when they maybe weren't going to score anymore. But clean sheet, tick, goals, yes, home win, take them how they come. And as we say, it's on to Boreham Wood and on to Braintree now for United, and with any luck they can pick up a home win in the league for the second time this season.
That certainly would be nice, and hopefully we're going to speak with Matty Carson at the end of this game, and I thought he was impressive.
Yeah,